Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rocco Spot coming at you with my retro review of Halloween 6: The Curse of Michael Myers. This picks up 6 years after the events of Halloween 5. It should be noted there are two cuts of the film: the theatrical cut and also a producer's cut. The producer's cut is not too easily come across unless you bought the box set, which I didn't. However, that being said, I'm focusing on the theatrical cut, but I will be making mention at the end of some of the changes that I am aware of between the theatrical and the producer's cut. Anyways, on to the review. First off, the casting note, we've got Donald Pleasence in his final performance as Dr. Sam Loomis. Pleasence would actually pass away, but after initial filming had stopped and before the movie was actually released. We got Paul Rudd as Tommy Doyle, the kid that basically the grown-up version of the kid that Laurie was babysitting in Halloween 1. Marianne Hagen as Kara Strode, Laurie's adopted cousin. Mitchell Ryan as Dr. Wynn, the head administrator at Smith's Grove. Keith Bogart as Tim Strode, Laurie's other cousin. Leo Getter as Barry Sims, a local shock jock. Howard Stern with a dash of Coast to Coast AM. Devin Gardner plays Danny Strode, the son of Kara Strode. We got J.C. Brandy as Jamie Lloyd, taking over for Danielle Harris. Excuse me. Then we got Susan Swift as Mary, a midwife who assists in the birth of Jamie's son. George P. Wilbur and A. Michael Lerner as Michael Myers. Lerner would play Myers in the reshoots, which makes for a continuity error, as Lerner is slimmer than Wilbur. Wilbur was actually the first actor to play Myers in two movies. Moving on, we got Janice Nickerim as Mrs. Blankenship, who in fact was babysitting Michael on Halloween 1963 and was aware that he was apparently hearing voices. Mariah O'Brien as Beth, the girlfriend of Tim Strode. Bradford English as John Strode, Laurie's uncle, and Kim Darby as Deborah Strode, Laurie's aunt. So anyways, the movie picks up, like I said, 6 years after Halloween 5. We've got Jamie Lloyd and Michael Myers vanished on Halloween 1989. They just turns out they were kidnapped by a cult, the Cult of Thorn. Anyway, so we find out that the Cult of Thorn has basically gotten Jamie pregnant, and she has the baby, and it's supposed to be a sacrifice for Michael. However, with the help of the midwife, she escapes and manages to call Barry Sims' radio show, and is heard by both Tommy Doyle and Dr. Loomis. So anyways, Tommy after having recorded the call and messing around with the audio, is able to figure out, oh, she's in a bus station. So he goes to the bus station and it discovers Jamie's son. Meanwhile, after having made the call, Jamie is killed by Michael. Of course, Loomis and Wynn are looking at this as well. But Loomis and Tommy run into one another, and so they Tommy informs Loomis that he's living in meet him in Haddonfield, and so they do, and of course Michael is headed there. Meanwhile, of course, Michael arrives in Haddonfield and goes to his house, which is inhabited by the Strodes. Not Laurie Strodes, but her uncle, aunt, and cousins. Mainly because, well, her dad couldn't manage to sell the place, which is noted in that he is trying to do so in the first movie. So the family is there, and of course, Dad, John is well aware that yes, a horrible murder did happen in the house, and it's. Anyways, so in the 6 years since Halloween 5, the town has basically stopped celebrating Halloween. So Tim and his girlfriend are part of a movement to bring Halloween back to Haddonfield. Barry Sims is there and does a bit for Barry Sims is a bit at the local college, because apparently Haddonfield has a university where it's revealed that, oh yeah, Tim lives in the old Myers house. Again, Tim was unaware that he lived in the Myers house. So basically, Tommy takes the baby to the boarding house he's living in, and while there, meets up with Dr. Loomis as well as Kara Strode and her son Danny, and he informs Kara and Danny of the history of their house, and so they're just kind of like, yeah, we got to get out of here. And she also, Kara then informs her mom, who calls John and says, hey, you put us in this house when you knew that this horrible thing happened here. Michael returns, kills Deborah, later on kills John, and then it turns out that this is where things get the it turns out that the curse of Thorn is upon that house. Well, at least upon Michael, and now also upon Danny. So they and wouldn't you know it, but in charge of the cult of Thorn is Dr. Wynn. It they're Wynn wants to harness the curse and use it for his own ends, and so they, of course, all go to Smith's Grove, and that's where the final battle. That's where the final climax happens, and Loomis is killed, and well, presumably speaking, you hear him scream, and the cult is also pretty much wiped out by Michael. Michael is also taken down by Tommy, and Tommy, Kara, Danny, and Jamie Lloyd's baby, who Tommy has named Steven, all run, right off into the sunset together. But obviously, with the way that Loomis died, Michael is still alive, so we don't actually see that Michael's alive, but yeah. So anyways, this movie concludes the so-called Thorn trilogy. Like I said, it reintroduces and recasts Dr. Wynn from the first movie. Wynn was played in the original by Robert Phelan. I thought it was nice to see the Strode family expanded, as well as a nod to the fact that Laurie Strode's dad was trying to sell the Myers house in the first movie. There's actually some decent tension and build-up, but the decent uses are few and far between, sadly. Oh dear God, so much coincidence. The movie relies on all the coincidence, I swear. Like, oh, the whole, for example, Tommy running into Dr. Loomis at the hospital he goes to with Jamie Lloyd's baby. Yeah, it relies way too much on coincidence, even for a slasher movie. Now, this is another thing. The idea that anybody living in Haddonfield doesn't know at least major details about the Myers killings is insane. Hell, it just boggles my mind that the Strode family did not know that they were living in the house that Michael Myers grew up in. The editing could be a little better, and it makes the existence of the producer's cut more than a little obvious. As for the Curse of Thorn, apparently this is a quote-unquote Celtic curse wherein one child is picked to kill their immediate family to save the rest of the village. Now, see some differences about the producer's cut. It expands on various plot points mainly. Wynn offers Loomis it's kind of implied that Wynn is offering Loomis' position within the cult, or Wynn is wants to make Loomis have Loomis take the place of Michael. Wynn, as I recall, Wynn admits to teaching Michael how to drive. It's implied heavily in the producer's cut that the baby is the son of not just Jamie but Michael as well. So anyway, that's Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. This was probably not the best review in the world, but it's the whole concept of diminishing returns when it comes to slasher movies, to horror movies in general, sequels. You know, further and further on, it just gets, you know. I honestly thought that to be perfectly honest, I think that Halloween 2 should have been the end of the Michael Myers story. He's blown up, and that's that. But can't keep a popular character down. Anywho, it could be said that Halloween H2O kind of, I guess, kind of disregarded 4, 5, and 6, though it's feasible. You could say it's feasible that maybe this, you know, everything that all happened, but of course the new movie is going to basically say nope, nothing after the first movie happened. Which, to be perfectly honest, I'm not that fond of, but I like 2. 2 is a good, like I said, 2 is a good ending for the whole thing, but this just, this movie is one of those ones that could be a whole hell of a lot better, and yeah. So anyways, that's all I got for today. Tomorrow I will be doing my review on Venom, which I'll be actually leaving to go see here in a little bit. So anyways, this is Rock and Roll Spock signing off. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon are in the description box down below. Hit the bell icon for notifications, and live long and rock hard.